Dear President, first of all, I have to give my apologies. Apologies because I shall do my intervention in modern Latin language. English, I think, is the name of this modern Latin language. And I'm not enough speaking Greek. My only Greek that I know is ancient Greek, from the Ilias. Menin aedetea, paliadeo akoleis olumenia, mechuri akaio. I can tell you that my father, he could continue like that for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, the whole Ilias, and all the battles in the Ilias. So I apologize that I don't speak modern Greek, and that I have to do my intervention of today in English. But I want to thank especially Stefanos Manos and Todoros Skylakakis for the invitation, both of them. Stefanos Manos, who I know already for years. How you describe Stefanos, I think the best way to do it is to say that he is the father and the founder of your movement, a proud liberal, and for us in Brussels we always say that's the liberal voice of Greece, and that's not easy to be the liberal voice of Greece. And I want to thank also Todoros, whom I have been fighting in Brussels already for 3 years now, fighting for a future for Greece, looking for ways, Todoros, to restart the Greek economy, looking also for ways to ease the burden on the Greek citizens, who are in fact the first victims of this crisis. And he is your representative in the European Parliament, and I can tell you he is doing there a great job, because he is the only independent liberal voice of Greece in the European Parliament. So I want to thank you, both of you, Todoros and Stefanos, for giving today a kickstart, I think it's a good word, a kickstart to the liberal movement in Greece. Because, friends, let's be very honest and open about it, liberalism, and more than that, I should say, Stefanos, an enlightened liberalism is absolutely needed in Greece, and I should say more than in any other country of Europe, we need liberalism in Greece. And what Greece needs is, in fact, crystal clear. It's simple. I have only 3 words to describe it. What you need is less clientelism, more liberalism, and more Europe. That is the recipe for what the problems of Greece. And I have to tell you, I have not only coming to here only to please you, but also to be, from the beginning, be very blunt with you. Last time, during the national elections, and I came many times at that moment in Athens and in Greece, the liberal forces didn't manage to cooperate fully, and no people were elected in the parliament. Nevertheless, if I do my account and I put all liberal and centrist forces had worked together, they would have, in my opinion, achieved over 6, maybe nearly 7%. Enough to have secured a single election round in Greece. There was not a need for a second one. Enough also to have been the key player in what should be a new majority, working together to a new Greece. And enough also to make the change possible that Greece desperately needs. So I hope that this new Congress is a new start for what I call a wider project. A project that is new, a project that can be groundbreaking, and that can really change the fate of Greece. Because that is what Greece needs. Change, change, and change. And this government, and that's my assumption, this majority now in place here, is not capable to do that really. Not in depth this government and this majority now in place here is, how I can tell it, it's only implementing the spreadsheets of the International Monetary Fund, implementing what others outside Greece, the Troika, is deciding on and is asking for. That is government politics for the moment in Greece. Also raising taxes on small and medium enterprise to rebalance the public accounts. Also taking money from people in Greece with a low income or with a small wage. Real reforms, my dear friends, means more than cutting the number of civil servants. Real reforms in Greece means more than selling your assets to one or other Greek or foreign oligarch. And real reforms means more than implementing the Excel sheets of the International Monetary Fund. What Greece needs is a different reform. And what Greece needs are real reforms. And real reforms, what is it in Greece? It's to end finally the clientelistic system that is the real tragedy and the source of the problems in this country. And what Greece really needs is to really open the markets, not only in words, but in reality. To really end once and for all the protected and closed professions in these countries that exist. To really lower also the tax burden on small and medium companies, and to really downsize the weight of the public sector. And it is not only a question of number of civil servants, it's also a question of number of civil servants. It's mainly giving back a number of activities to the real society and to the private sector. And I have to tell you, it's my opinion and my conviction that this can only be delivered by a strong, broad, Greek, centrist, liberal movement. That will be, in fact, the real breakthrough in the Greek crisis and not the software of the International Monetary Fund. You have certainly understand me. I have something against the software of the International Monetary Fund. My problem is that they only are reasoning in mathematics. If the numbers are okay, then everything is okay. But the real life of citizens, that is what is, in my opinion, more important than the numbers of one or other software program. But dear friends, and that's a second message that I want to give to you today. The solution for the Greek problem lies not only in Greece alone. That we have to consider too. From the beginning of this crisis, I have said that the real origin of the Greek crisis was caused by a lack of European Union, by a lack and absence of European integration. We thought in Brussels and in the European Union, we thought it was possible to have a monetary union, to keep a single currency, the euro, alive, without an economic union, without a fiscal union, without a banking union, without a political union. What a hubris is it to think that this was possible? Let's say it bluntly. Maybe a state can exist without a currency, and there are examples of that, but I don't think that a currency can exist without a state or a state authority behind it. Proof of that, why the United States of America, who have a debt today of 103%, that is 12% more higher than the debt of the Eurozone, why are they paying less interest rates than the average in the Eurozone? Why the Japanese, you know, that are the record holders of public debt, with a public debt of 226% in Japan, are today paying the lowest interest rates in the world? Less than 1% is the interest rate that the Japanese government is paying on their debt. Why is that possible? Well, the reason is simple. Because behind the dollar, behind the yen, there is a real government, there is a real budget, there are common policies, there is one treasury, there is one common bond market. And behind the euro, for the moment, nothing at all of all this. And from the beginning of this crisis, of this Greek crisis, it has been my opinion that the discussion on the choice between austerity and discipline was an unproductive one. Was, how can I call it, a waste of time. Yes, we need naturally austerity, fiscal discipline, because we need to get our public accounts in order. But we need also growth and solidarity today. We need a common bond market in Europe that can bring down the interest rates we are paying in Europe. And not at all in the interest of the states, of the public authorities. No, we need to do it for the private sector, for the small and medium companies, for people that have good ideas but not find the money to realize them today. How can we justify it? We give tons of liquidity to the banks today in Europe to keep them alive. The ECB for the moment transfers hundreds of billions of euros of cheap money to them, but no private company, no small or medium company, especially in Greece, can get credit to start up its own activity. They have to pay 9%, 10% of interest rate, what is an impossibility if you want to recover in an economy. So we need to start to fix the problem, to create a common bond market in Europe, to create and to fix the banking problem if we want to recover from the crisis. And we know what is needed for that. European solutions again. We need a common supervisory mechanism in Europe. We need a common resolution fund in Europe, not funded again by the taxpayers, not funded again by the depositors, but financed by the bank themselves, based on a contribution in relation to their risk profile. If you're an investment bank with a high risk profile, you pay more. If you're a saving bank with a low risk profile, you pay less. And in the end, dear friends, and that's my message of today, the solution for this crisis, inside and outside Greece, is not less Europe, but more Europe. But more Europe doesn't mean this Europe. More Europe means more Europe means another Europe for the alliance of liberal and democrats of Europe. More integrated, more united. A Europe also capable to play his role in the new globalized world. A Europe capable to defend our interests in this new world, to defend our model in this world, in a world more and more dominated, let's be honest about it, not longer by small European nation states, but the reality is different, by huge empires and civilizations like China, India, Brazil, the US, we know it already, and other empires in the world. So my message today is very clear to you. Europe needs change just like Greece needs change. But for change you need courage. And for courage you need leadership. And that means new leadership. A new leadership that can end the old system here in place since decades. A new leadership that can produce an alternative for the three-party coalition of today. An alternative which is needed because if were these parties who led us where you are today, it were these parties that created the mess for decades. And it were these parties who produced also the clientelistic system. Maybe their clients are different, but in any way, the system they use is the same. So I think the future of Greece cannot be dependent on them anymore. To exit the crisis, Greece shall need a broad, radical, I use the word radical, political movement of change, with Draghi in the core. A Draghi that opens itself to the society, and a Draghi that attracts all creative forces in Greece, finally. And that's your mission from today on. So good luck to you, good luck to Theodoros. We stand with you and we fight with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy, for a rousing speech. Είναι μαζί μας ο Δήμαρχος Αθηναίων και θα τον παρακαλέσω να μας απευθύνει ένα χαιρετισμό.